Hold on tight. An HOA Karen calls 911, claiming my lake fishing's a crime. I'm Frank, a single dad, and I made them pay to use my dock. Lies unravel, justice strikes, and then boom, the lake's mine. Before we start, smash that like button to fuel this epic battle. Thanks for the love. A sharp click of heels on my dock jolted me. You're breaking the law. That voice, dripping with smug authority, was Helen Brooks, Meadowbrook, HOA's new president, waving a $500 fine like a weapon. I was fishing at dawn, diesel fumes still burning my nose from a 10-hour warehouse shift. Just tried to steal 2 hours apiece at my family's cabin in Ranch, Texas. Helen called 911, claimed I was trespassing on her lake, had no clue my sister, Maria, was the dispatcher taping her lies. I'm Frank Torres, warehouse worker, single dad, and this is how Helen's power trip sparked a war. One she'd lose when her HOA ended up paying to use my dock. One morning, I just clocked out at 5:05, my hands throbbing from scanner guns, back screaming from bending over conveyor belts, eyes stinging from the warehouse's fluorescent glare. I drove 20 minutes to our cabin, parked by the old pecan tree, and walked to the cedar dock my grandpa built. This lake, this spot, it's been my lifeline for 3 years. Ever since my divorce, my IT layoff, my life falling apart. That dock, my beat-up fishing rod, held together with duct tape, it's where the world goes quiet. The water's still, dawn's pink glow on the ripples, mist rising like a sigh. A heron watches, so calm I wonder if it's praying too. I call the big bass George after the boss who canned me. This lake, it kept me from breaking when I had nothing left. I was casting, lines slicing the mist, when Helen stormed in like a bad movie villain. Her nephew, Tyler, 19, all swagger, trailed with an iPad on a tripod, ring light blazing in the pre-dawn. This is Helen Brooks, HOA president, catching crime in action, she crowed to her live stream. Her knockoff sunglasses perched crooked, sun nowhere near up. You're fishing illegally on HOA property, $500 fine. I was running on fumes. 52 hours that week, body aching. Ma'am, I said, not turning. This is my cabin, my family's land, my lake. She waved papers at Tyler's camera. He's trespassing, disrupting our peaceful community. Her husband, Marcus, stood back, scribbling on an iPad, smirking in my worn-out work boots, my hands shaking from exhaustion. I stared at the water. That $500, it's 33 hours of my life. I said, a voice low. 33 hours of work for 2 hours of peace. Helen leaned in. Hey, or it's $1,000 tomorrow. I set my rod down, careful, stood slow, back screaming, and shuffled to my truck. I need your info. Helen shrieked. For the fine. I paused. Frank Torres, look me up. I'll be here tomorrow. Her sneer twisted. You'll regret that. In my truck. I sat too drained to turn the key. My phone's wallpaper glowed me in a tie. IT Day's a guy I don't recognize anymore. 3 years hauling packages aged me a decade, hands trembling on the wheel. That $500, it was groceries for a month, gas to visit my daughter in Dallas, the only thing keeping me sane. This lake, these 2 hours, they were my therapy. No pills, no shrink, just a rod in silence where no one barked about quotas or productivity rates. A fine like that, it wasn't just money, it was my survival. My phone buzzed. Carlos, my warehouse co-worker. Yo, you're viral. Helen's videos at 500,000 views. He delivered to her house, spotted blueprints on her table. Our lake, labeled to be filled. Cypress Estates. My blood ran cold. This wasn't about fishing. It was about something bigger. The break room went silent. Someone played the video. My exhausted face clear as day. Amy Rodriguez, single mom for my shift, spoke up. $500 for fishing. That's robbery. Derek, our supervisor, muttered, corporate's gonna hate this. Watch out. Folks started spilling HOA nightmares, fines for parking work trucks, spicy cooking smells, kids laughing too loud. Carlos showed me the blueprint photo. 40 luxury units. They're wiping out the lake. I felt a knot in my gut. This wasn't just my cabin. It was where nurses decompressed after night shifts, where drivers ate lunch between runs, where workers like me could breathe. Amy said, "That $500, it's my kid's school supplies." She got it. What that fine meant to folks scraping by. The video blew up online. Work reform forum screamed, 2 hours peace equals 33 hours labor. A nurse posted, 28 hours for me, a roofer, 41. Workers counting hours for simple joys, a movie date, a burger, a nap without guilt. I dug into Helen. Her website bragged. Transforming neighborhoods, 5 California towns gutted, working-class homes flipped into mansions. Her game, take over HOAs, harass residents, buy low, build high. But county records showed my family co-owned the lake with Betty Wong since 1975. HOA only had usage rights from a 1990 deal. So why the fine? I dragged myself to the HOA meeting, the community center reeking of stale coffee, despair in the air. I held up my pay stub, $17.50 an hour, 13 after taxes. That fine's 33 hours of my life. Helen sat at the head, fake pity dripping. Perhaps seek better employment. We all sacrifice for community standards. A mechanic in the back growled, "We're all tired, lady." Nod spread, but no one dared speak louder. Helen's fines had silenced them before. Outside, Amy pulled me aside. Fines are up 400% since Helen. Targeting workers, old trucks, immigrant cooking smells. She's pushing us out. Harold Simpson, a neighbor for 40 years, overheard. "My grandpa fished that lake. Free. Something's wrong here." My phone rang. Unknown number. I answered. "Frank Torres, this is Betty Wong." Her voice was old but sharp. "Saw your video. Helen fined me $200 for feeding ducks. 30 years I've done it." She paused. "The lake smells, chemicals, she's poisoning it. Come see me, bring someone who knows law." It was near midnight. My shift loomed, but sleep was off the table. This wasn't just my dock. It was about all of us fighting for a scrap of peace in a world that wanted us exhausted. The Texas dawn was still, but Helen Brooks's fine was a storm brewing. Her $500 penalty for fishing off my dock and my family's cabin and ranch, Texas, wasn't about rules. It was about control. She'd called 911, screamed I was trespassing on HOA property, clueless that my sister, Maria, the dispatcher, was recording every lie. That lake, my grandpa's cedar dock, it was my lifeline after 10-hour warehouse shifts. Now, Helen's blueprints to bury it for luxury estates had me raging. This is how I started uncovering her plan, and the town began to fight back. The next morning, my hands ached from the scanner gun, back throbbing from the warehouse's concrete floors. I sat in my truck by the pecan tree, too wired to sleep after Betty Wong's call. "Helen's poisoning the lake," she'd said. "Chemicals bring a lawyer." My phone buzzed. Carlos, my warehouse buddy. Videos at 1 million views. Hashtag 33 hours challenge is trending. He'd seen blueprints at Helen's. Cypress Estates, 40 units, lakes marked fill. I gripped the wheel. This wasn't just my cabin. It was where nurses unwound, drivers ate, workers like me breathed. Helen wanted it gone, for profit. I called Maria. "Sis." Helen's 911 call, anything. Her voice was sharp. She claimed violent trespasser. I flagged it. 3rd false call this month. Maria, 8 years on dispatch. Never mixed family and work. But this was personal. "Got the tape," she said. "She's sloppy. Keep pushing." I texted Amy Rodriguez, single mom for my shift. "Need your brain?" Helen's targeting workers. She replied, "Meet me, break room noon." The warehouse was buzzing. Helen's video played on a coworker's phone, my exhausted face staring down her camera. Amy whispered, $500, that's my kids' clothes. Others chimed in fines for loud barbecues. Rusty, work trucks, kids' bikes left out. Carlos showed the blueprint photo again. They're killing the lake, luxury condos. I felt sick. My dock, where I named the base George, where I kept my sanity, was just dirt to Helen. Amy pulled up Helen's site. Transforming neighborhoods. 5 California towns, same playbook. Take HOA. Harass locals, flip for millions. I dug into county records. My family co-owned the lake with Betty Wong. 1975 date. HOA's 1990 usage deal was shaky. Helen's fine was a bluff, but why push so hard? My phone pinged. Sarah Brown, Ranch Chronicle reporter. Frank, saw the video. Story? I texted. Meet me, diner. 3 p.m. I needed eyes on this fast. Carlos texted. Helen's nephew. Tyler. He's patrolling the lake, hassling folks. I growled. My rules. I drove to Sunny Days nursing home. Betty's room glowed with photos. Her husband, Henry, fishing, the lake sparkling. It saved him, she said. Vietnam broke him, fishing fixed him. Like you. Her hand shook, holding a mason jar, lake water, oily sheen. Chemicals, she whispered. Helen's killing it for her condos. The deed was crisp. Henry paid $8,000. 1975. HOA's deal was usage. We own it. She got bills $30,000. Maintenance, lies she'd paid Jose to stock fish. Medical bills, $8,000 a month, she said. I'll sell you $1,800,000, worth $400,000. Keep it free for tired folks. I stammered. I've got $5,000, she smiled. Fine $1,750,000. Helen's offering cash. Back at the warehouse, the break room was tense. Amy had data. Fines up 400%. Early workers, old cars, immigrant food smells. Helen's weeding us out. Carlos nodded. Delivered to her, saw Marcus, her husband, meeting suits, talking property values. I showed Betty's jar. They're poisoning it to drain it. Amy's eyes blazed. My kids fish there. We stopped this. Derek, our supervisor, overheard. Corporate's mad. Video's bad PR. Careful. I called Maria. Helen's escalating. More calls? She texted. Another 9/11. Loiterers, nurses fishing. I logged it. She's unhinged. At the diner. Sarah's notepad was out. Frank, what's the angle? I slid her the deed. My lake. Betty's. Helen's lying, poisoning it. I showed Carlos's photo. Condos. She's targeting workers. Sarah's eyes lit. Big story. Can I run it? I nodded. Facts, it's solid. She scribbled. Helen's got council ties. This'll sting. I left, resolved like iron. Helen's fine was a front for a multi-billion-dollar scam. Helen struck back, a sign at my dock. No fishing. 5:00 a.m. -10:00 a.m. 5:00 p.m. 10:00 p.m. Worker hours banned. Tyler, her nephew. Security badge fake. Barked at Harold Simpson for sitting by the lake. Loitering. $300. I texted Sam Granger. Tyler's harassing. Signs illegal? He replied. Your land. Sue for trespass. Gather evidence. I checked cams. Tyler caught. Spray painting. HOA only. On my dock. I saved it. Got you. Harold called. Frank, my daddy fish free. Helen's at the feed store. Saying your cabin's a hazard. I asked. Who's listening? He sighed. Marcus, her husband, but John Ruiz is doubting. I texted Amy. Helen's smearing, rally folks. She replied. Church, school. I'm on it. Maria texted. Helen's 911 priors, 7 false calls, pattern. Keep documenting. I walked the lake. Cabin cedar walls glowed. Grandpa's roses by the dock. My phone buzzed. Marcus emailed neighbors. Dangerous fishing. Cabin threat. My face grainy. Trespasser. I called Sarah. Marcus is spreading lies. Story ready? She said. Drafts tight. Waiting for your signal. I checked Helen's emails. Thanks to Carlos's Wi-Fi hack. To Marcus. Push Torres. More fines. Another to a developer. Lake's hours fill soon. My blood boiled. My lake. My peace. Her profit. It takes some. They're planning to fill it evidence. He replied. Cam's emails build it. Amy texted. Nurses are mad. Fishing banned. We're meeting warehouse tonight. I stood by the dock. Rod untouched. Heron watching. Helen thought she'd caged me. But my trap was forming, and her lies were about to drown. The next morning, My back ached from hauling boxes, fingers numb from the scanner gun. I stood by the pecan tree, checking my phone. Helen's video was at 2 million views. Trended, workers worldwide posting hours they'd trade for peace, a coffee, a nap, a moment to feel human. Carlos texted, Helen's nephew, Tyler, he's patrolling your dock. Find nurses. My blood boiled my lake. Where I named the base George was no place for her goon. Maria called. Another 9/11. Helen said loiterers at the lake. Nurses. I've got 9 false calls now. She's reckless. I met Amy Rodriguez in the warehouse break room. Her eyes fierce. Nurses can't fish, my kids can't play. Helen's killing our lake. She showed a spreadsheet. Finds target workers. 400% spike since Helen. Noise, cars, food smells. I shared Betty Wong's jar, oily lake water. She's poisoning it for condos. Amy slammed her fist. We stop her now. Carlos joined. Delivered to Marcus. Her husband. Heard him. Clear undesirables. Triple values. He had a recording. Marcus's voice. Lake's private luxury amenity. I texted Sam Granger. Marcus's tape. Chemical proof enough? He replied. Solid. Get more? Cams running? I checked my dock cams. Tyler caught. Spray painting. HOA rules. Again. I sent it to Sam. Trespassing. Vandalism. He texted. Felony stalking's close. Keep logging. Sarah Brown, the reporter, called. Frank's story's ready. Helen's history. California scams. Publish. I said, wait, we're building. Amy texted. Meeting tonight. Warehouse, nurses, drivers, all in. I walked the lake. Cabin glowing. Roses by the dock. Helen's sign. No fishing. Worker hours mocked me. I yanked at stake Torres Trust. Private. Betty texted. Surgery soon. Lake's key with Harold. Don't let Helen win. I drove to Sunny Days. Her room dim. Henry's fishing photos fading. Frank, she whispered. Helen offered $2,500,000 cash. Lisa's tempted. Bills are $100,000. Her hand gripped mine. Keep it free for tired folks like Henry. I showed the fund $10,000. Workers are giving. Will hit $180,000. She smiled. Henry'd love this fight. I left resolve hard. Betty's lake was ours. The warehouse meeting was electric. 50 workers, nurses in scrubs, drivers with thermoses. Amy stood. Helen's finds. Our lake. She's poisoning it. I showed the jar. Chemicals for condos. Carlos played Marcus's tape. Undesirables out. Profits up. Gas hit. John Ruiz, a mechanic. My $500. Safety fees gone. Emily Chun, a teacher. $300. My car's eyesore. I said, we need $1,750,000. Betty's selling or Helen buys. Marcus, our IT guy, crunched. 3,500 workers, $50 each. Harold pledged. $500 my pension, Lake's life. Amy nodded. Church school. I'll spread it. Helen escalated. A new fine, $750. Unapproved dock use. My grandpa's cedar. I sent it to Sam. Bluff. He replied. Illegal. Your land. Sue for harassment. My cams caught Marcus. Dumping chemicals. 3:00 M. Skull and crossbones barrels. I sent it. Got him. Sam texted. EPA territory. Sheriff's looped. Maria texted. Helen's 10th. 9/11. Vandals, drivers fishing. She admitted trespassing. Tapes gold. I called Sarah. Videos live. Marcus dumping. Run it. She said. Drafts ready. Timing's yours. Corper called. HR's voice cold. Frank, video's bad PR. Remove it. Or strike one. I needed this job. Rent my daughter in Dallas. It's my lake, I said. 5:30. My time. They snapped. Brand damage. 24 hours. I hung up pulse racing. Helen's lies were strangling me. But the community was waking. Amy texted. Funds at $20,000. Nurses gave $3,000. We fish post shift. Carlos said. Drivers added $2,000. Lunch spot sacred. I stood by the dock. Karen watching. We're coming for you, Helen. Harold called. HOA meeting soon. Helen's smearing you. Dangerous cabin. I asked. Vibe. He said. Folks are split. John's questioning. Marcus is loyal. I prepped cams live. Marcus's chemical clip ready. Sarah texted. Neighbors saw the video. Hashtag Meadowbrook scams trending. Helen's rattled. I checked Helen's emails to Marcus. Torres's fund. Stop it. More fines. Another to a developer. Lake's hours film next month. My gut twisted my piece. Her profit. I met John at his garage. Frank, my $500 vanished. I showed Sarah's draft. Ask Helen. He nodded. I'm out, she's dirty. Amy texted. Tyler's nervous. Marcus is dodging calls. I replied. They're cracking meetings key. Helen's flyer hit. Save Meadowbrook. My cabin photoshopped a shack. Emily called. HOA's voting. Your fines, they're scared. I geared up. Clean shirt, deed copies. Maria's tapes on my phone. The meeting loomed. My doc cams glowed. Recording. Carlos texted. Found Marcus's email to Helen. Funds at $25,000. We're losing. I grinned. Our workers are fight. Helen's empire was shaking, and her lies were about to hit the shore. The Texas dust swirled by my cabin, but Helen Brooks's lies kicked up a fiercer storm. The next morning, my hands were raw from the warehouse's stowed apartment, back screaming from heavy boxes. I stood by the pecan tree, doc cams humming. Helen's latest 911 call still echoing in my head. Maria had texted. 11th false report. She said vandals, drivers fishing, admitted being on your dock, felony territory. My phone buzzed. Amy Rodriguez. Funds at $50,000. Nurses, drivers, teachers. We're rolling. Hashtag 33 hours challenge was viral. Workers posting hours for peace, a beer, a sunset, a moment to breathe. Carlos texted. Helen's rattled. Her emails. Torres's fund must fail. I grinned. Our lake, our fight. I checked the cams. Marcus, Helen's husband, caught again. 2:00 a.m. Dumping chemicals, barrels marked with skull and crossbones. I sent it to Sam Granger. EPA now. He replied. Gold, sheriff's briefed. HOA meetings your stage. Sarah Brown, the reporter, called. Frank, Marcus's videos live. Hashtag Meadowbrook scams at 500,000 views. Publish. I said, hold meetings tonight. Let it burn. Amy texted. 100 workers. Warehouse planning. Helen's done. I walked the lake. Cabin cedar walls glowed. Roses by the dock defiant. Helen's sign. No fishing. Worker hours was gone, my Torres trust. Private stood tall. Betty Wong's text hit. Surgery's critical. Lease's breaking. Helen's $250,000 tempts her hurry. I called Harold Simpson. Betty's key safe. He said, got it, Lake's hours my daddy'd fight too. I met Amy at the warehouse, break room packed. Nurses, drivers, teachers, faces tired but fierce. Amy stood. Helen's poisoning our lake. For condos, we've got $50,000, need $130,000 more. I showed Marcus's clip. They're dumping chemicals, killing fish for profit. John Ruiz, mechanic. My $500 stolen. Emily Chun, teacher. $300. My car. She's targeting us. Carlos played Marcus's tape. Clear undesirables, lakes private. Millions. Gasps rippled. That's our piece. Marcus, our IT guy, said, 3,500 workers, $37 each. We're close. Harold pledged. $1,000, my savings for Betty. Amy added. Church raised $5,000. Fishers of men. I showed Betty's jar, oily water. This is our lake. Dying, we save it. A nurse stood. I fish post-shift. Keeps me sane, $200. A driver. Lunch spot, $100. The room roared. Fund hit $60,000 by midnight. I texted Maria. Meeting's hot. More 911s. She replied. Helen's 12th. Trespassers. Your doc. She's unhinged. Tapes ready. Helen struck a $1,000 fine. Unapproved cabin activity. My fishing. I sent it to Sam. Bluff. He texted. Harassment. Your deeds, ironclad, meetings key. My cams caught Tyler, her nephew, slashing my roses. HOA rules, scrawled in paint. I sent it. Vandalism. Sam replied. Patterns tight, sheriff's watching. Sarah texted. Neighbors are flipping. John saw the chemical clip. He's out. I called John. HOA meeting you in? He said. Helen's a crook. I'm there. Corporate hit hard. HR called. Frank, strike one, videos PR damage. Remove it or strike two. I needed this job. Ran my daughter. My lake, my time, I said. They snapped. 24 hours or suspension. I hung up chest tight. Helen's fines, corporate's threats, squeezing me dry. But the community was fire. Amy texted. Funds at $75,000. Drivers gave $4,000. Our lake, Carlos said. Marcus met suits. Country club. I recorded. Phil Lake. Next month. I texted Sam. More fraud meetings now. Helen's flyer spread. Save Meadowbrook. My cabin, photoshopped to dump. Comments turned. Where's my $500? Helen's lying. Hashtag Meadowbrook scam spiked. Torres owns it. I prep for the HOA meeting, clean shirt, deed copies. Maria's tapes. Marcus's chemical clip. Harold called. Center's packed. 80 neighbors. Helen's spinning your cabin as a crime hub. I asked. Vibe. He said. Folks are angry. Emily's questioning. Marcus is shaky. I texted Sarah. Meetings tonight. Story ready? She replied. Locked, signal me. The community center buzzed. Air thick. Helen at the podium. Torres's cabin threatens safety. Marcus nodded, sweating. Tyler by the door. iPhone filming. I raised a hand. Let's talk ownership. Carlos projected. Torres trust. 1975 deed. The lake, cabin, dock. Ours with Betty. Gas hit. I said. My family co-owns this lake. HOA's usage deal. 1990. No fines legal. Helen shrieked. Lies. I held up the deed. Notarized. County stamped. John Ruiz stood. My $500, where is it? Emily Chun. $300, my car, show the books. Amy shouted. You poison the lake, stalked Frank. Helen tried. Torres is a criminal. I played Marcus's clip. 2:00 a.m. Chemicals. Undesirables out. Profits up. The room erupted. Thieves. I dropped Maria's tape. Helen's voice. He's trespassing on my dock. Maria's calm. Ma'am, you're on his property? Helen's slip. It's ours. I was there. Admitting trespass. Neighbors roared. Resign. I laid it out. The trusts owed $30,000, fake maintenance, plus $1.70 million. Cypress Estates scam. Helen screamed. Extortion. I met her gaze. My lake, my dock, my terms, clean the HOA or lose access. Amy stood. I nominate myself president. Open books. Cheers hit. 80% backed her. Helen bolted. You'll pay. Marcus muttered. I'm out. Tyler fled. iPhone dropped. Hashtag Meadowbrook scam hit 1 million views. Torres wins. Deputies arrived. Officer Martinez reviewed my cams. Mrs. Brooks, trespassing, false reports, come with us. Helen shrieked. I know the mayor. Martinez sighed. 13 fake 911s. You're done. Marcus was cuffed. Chemical dumping. EPA's next. Neighbors chanted. 33 hours. Sarah's article dropped. HOA fraud. $20,000 missing. Marcus's clip. Helen's tapes viral. I texted Maria. Helen's cuffed. We're close. She replied. Tapes sealed it. Keep pushing. Helen's last jab. A lake cleanup. 15 volunteers on my dock. Safety. I called the tow. 4 cars hauled. $800 each. Amy texted. They're raging paid. I staked signs. Torres trust. $50/trip. HOA. $500 per day. Helen's blog screamed. Torres's greed. I shrugged my dock my call. Her email to Marcus. Funds at $90,000. Stop it. I shook my head too late. Emily texted. Helen's house for sale, they're running. I met Sarah at the diner. Story's huge, she said. Neighbors want refunds. Marcus is spilling. I slid Tyler's vandalism clip, tied to Helen. She nodded. This ends her. Betty's text hit. I see weak. Lisa's cracking. Hurry. I stood by the dock. Fund $1,000,000. $80,000 to go. Helen's empire crumbling, but Betty's time was running out, and our lake hung in the balance. The Texas stars blazed over my cabin, but Helen Brooks's schemes were fading fast. The next morning, my hands were calloused from stow, back aching for boxes. I stood by the pecan tree, dock cams glowing, fund at $1,000,000, $80,000 shy of Betty Wong's $180,000 price. Betty was in ICU, her text haunting. Lisa's cracking. Helen's $250,000 tempter. I called Harold Simpson. Betty's key safe, he said. Lock tight. Lake's hours fight on. Maria texted. Helen's 13th, 9/11. Vandalism, drivers on your dock. She's desperate. Tapes are gold. My phone buzzed. Amy Rodriguez. Funds at $1,200,000. Nurses gave $5,000. We're close. Hashtag 33 hours challenge was global. Workers posting hours for peace, a walk, a laugh, a moment to live. Carlos texted. Marcus's emails to Helen. Funds killing us. Torres owns the narrative. I checked the cams. Tyler, Helen's nephew, caught slashing my roses again. HOA rules, painted red. I sent it to Sam Granger. More vandalism. He replied. Felony stalking, sheriff's ready. Push at the bank. Sarah Brown called. Frank, chemical clips at 1 million views. Neighbors are raging. Publish. I said. Now bury her. Amy texted. 200 workers. Warehouse tonight. We're buying the lake. I walked the dock. Cabin proud. Roses battered but blooming. Helen's blog screamed. Torres's extortion. My signs. Torres trust. $500 per day. HOA. Called greed. I laugh my lake, my rules. Betty's daughter, Lisa, called. Mom's fading. Bills are $1,200,000. Helen's cash is here. Her voice broke. I want Mom's wish, but I'm drowning, I said. Hold on, we're at $1,200,000. Workers for Betty. She cried. Hurry, I texted Maria. Betty's critical, more tapes. She replied. 14/9/11s. Helen's unhinged admitted poisoning. For safety. EPA's loop. Corporate hit. HR's voice ice. Frank, strike 2. Remove video or termination. I needed this job. Rent my daughter in Dallas. My lake, I said. My piece, they snapped. 12 hours or fired. I hung up, chest pounding. Helen's lies, corporate's boot, crushing me. But the community was alive. Amy texted. $1,400,000. Drivers added $3,000. Our lunch. I met Sarah at the diner. Story's viral, she said. Marcus's clip. Helen's tapes. Neighbors want blood. I slid Tyler's rose clip. Vandalism, her orders. Sarah nodded. This ends her. Carlos found Helen's email to a developer. Torres's fund, $1,400,000. Fill lake now. I texted Sam. They're rushing bank run. He replied. Deeds yours with $1,800,000 go. The warehouse meeting was chaos. 200 workers, nurses, drivers, teachers, signs reading 33 hours. Amy stood. $40,000 to go. Betty's dying. Helen's poisoning our lake. I played Maria's tape. Helen's voice. Chemicals for safety. Lake's ours. Neighbors roared. Liar. John Ruiz pledged. $1,000. My shop's savings. Emily Chun. $500 for my kids. A nurse. $300 post-shift piece. Fund hit $1,500,000. Carlos said. Marcus met suits. I recorded. Phil Lake. Profit $10 million. I showed the chemical clip. Marcus dumping. 2:00. Barrels glowing. EPA's coming, I said. We buy the lake now. Harold stood. Betty's key, bank tomorrow. My daddy's lake lives. Cheers erupted, $160,000 by dawn. Helen's last stunt, a safety patrol. 20 volunteers on my dock. Clean lake. I called a tow. 5 cars hauled $1,000 each. Amy texted. Their livid pay. I added signs. Betty Wong Memorial Lake. Workers fish free. HOA. $500 per day. Helen's blog raged. Torres's theft. My dirt. Her email to Marcus. Funds at $160000. We're done. I called Lisa. $160000. $20,000 more weight, she sobbed. Mom's not long. Channel 11 News called. Frank live. 5:30 a.m. Fish on the dock guest. I texted Amy. Rally Dawn all in. Corporate's letter hit. Terminated. Failure to comply. I cleared my locker. Amy saw. Stopper scan. Carlos dropped his. 150 workers walked. If Frank's out, Amy said. We're out. No strike. Just humanity refusing. Hashtag Breakroom Revolt. Viral. Workers worldwide. 40 hours of coffee. 20 hug. Solidarity flooded. Unions. Taco trucks. $5,000. Workers eat. Fund hit. $170,000. 24 hours left. At 5:30 a.m., 300 workers gathered. Dock glowing. Channel 11's lights blazed. Maria Santos, reporter. Frank's fight. A movement. Tony Rodriguez, Houston-born baseball star, stepped up. My dad worked nights, fished for peace. His $20,000 check sparked cheers. Helen's mansion woke. The bank run was a parade. Cars honked. Helen's SUV blocked the lot. Workers chanted. 33 hours. Officer Martinez smirked. Move it. EPA wants Marcus. Lisa, on video call, saw the crowd. Mom smiling. Betty whispered. Henry's happy. The bank manager rushed papers. Community owning water. Historic, I signed. Lisa cried. Mom's peace. Betty passed that evening, watching her lake's sunset via live stream. Promise kept, she said. My first act signs. Betty Wong Memorial Lake. Workers fish free. HOA dock. $500 per day. I locked the access road. Gate code 33 HOR. HOA board. Apply my mood. Saturday. Helen honked at 6:00. Trapped. Kidnapping, she screamed, live streaming her meltdown. I sipped coffee with Harold. Fish are louder. Marcus fell climbing the fence. Suit muddied. Comments roared. Karen in 4K. EPA and sheriff arrived. Helen's stream showed chemical barrels. Ma'am, the agent said. Those barrels Marcus cuffed. Illegal dumping. Helen froze, filming her ruin. Sarah's article screamed. HOA Poison Lake. Mugshots viral. I texted Maria. They're done, we won. She replied. Tapis nylid. Like is yours. 1,000 fished at Betty's funeral. Lisa spoke. Mom's lake. Hope. Ashes scattered where Henry cast. A heron watched. Betty's spirit in the ripples. James got 18 months. Helen, 12. HOA banned. Their house foreclosed. Amy bought it, her kids fish daily. Helen wrote. Warehouse work. I get 33 hours, sorry. I kept it no reply. 15 communities launched lake funds. HOA reform hit Congress. Hashtag 33 hours workers math peace over profit. A year later. 5:30 a.m. I guide workers, nurses, teachers. Amy's kids splash. Harold toasts. To Betty this sign stands. Betty Wong Memorial Lake. Your peace, their profit. I cast fish jump. Betty and Henry fish somewhere. Their promise alive, one sunrise at a time. Hey everyone, what a ride, right? Thanks for diving into this story with me. Your support means everything. If you love Frank's fight to save his lake, smash that like button, drop a comment, tell me where you're watching from. Stay tuned. More stories are coming. See y'all the next one.